everybody. Happy Halloween. I got the music. And I got my rooster outfit. Check me out.
I love
You
it.
gotta do the headography. You see it? It's the headography for me. It's a gift. You know, I'm gonna start a whole dance class with just headography. It's a gift.
I love it.
I'm here for it too.
That's that slow grind. Listen, it's a gift. I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to start it over. I didn't know if you wanted me to start it. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Just a Little Bit More. Happy Thursday. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? We made it. God is good. We made it to another week, another Thursday, and it is going to be a great night of Black topics. We have a very, very special guest. But before we get all into that, you know, here Just a Little Bit More, we're dedicated to getting just a little bit more information. We love to get a little bit more tea, and we always like to end it with a whole lot of love. Tonight we have Reese in the house. Hey, Reese.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We may have Rachel. You know, that girl, she's a principal in Changing the World, so she may tune in later, honey. But she's coming in. But I'm really excited about this extra special guest, Mr. Don Abrams, who is the founder of Pride in the Pews, which is an amazing organization, which he'll tell you more about. I had the privilege of being a part of a conversation during National Coming Out Day, and he interviewed me, and he was so gracious, and he said he would come on our show and do some Black topics with us. Now, Don, I hope we save enough, because listen, we don't have, you know, we ain't save over here. So we're hopefully it'll be a great conversation with you. But before we I dive into meeting more about you, let's do a cocktail check. Listen, I have my tea for the yeah, you have your water. If you have your cocktail, cheers with us. We're about to get into this. You know that we do Black topics, which will be following. But first, we'll have Mo's news brief after I get some more information from Don. And then we'll do in some Black topics today, which is just hot topics from a Black point of view. You please share your comments because we want to hear them. I put them on the screen because I love your comments. I love your feedback. We need it. It is very interactive. Okay, so let's get into the juice. Let's get into it. Don, how are you tonight?
Hi, I'm good. I'm so happy to be here. Like, I am so happy, like slightly terrified.
Why are you terrified?
I know the hot topics or Black topics that are coming up. So I'm like really excited to sort of put my 2 cents in. But I'm just so thrilled to be here. So excited to be a part of this. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Good. Well, we're happy to have you. Could you first tell us about what is Pride in the Pews? Because I want everybody in the world to know about this. I want to spread it and shout it to the rooftops. What is Pride in the Pews?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share a little bit about the work. So Pride in the Pews is a nascent nonprofit, grassroots nonprofit focused on advancing LGBTQ plus justice and equity, both within and outside of the Black church. Our ultimate goal is to make Black sacred spaces more affirming for Black, queer, and trans and non-binary folks, believing that ultimately we've all been called to be more inclusive, more affirming, and standing in solidarity with those who are on the margin. So definitely follow us on Pride in the Pews, Instagram, we're Pride in the Pews, Facebook, we're Pride in the Pews. We'd love to have you be a part of our work if you're Black and queer or just interested in equity more broadly. But that's what we do, that's who we are. And I started just over a year ago now, and it's just been up and running ever since.
Well, what inspired you? Because I know we had a conversation and it was such a great interview. But what inspired you truly to say, this organization is needed and we need to have something, a safe space for queer people, people of color in the church? What made you create this?
Well, thank you for that question. And I'm probably going to need something stronger than water.
Listen, I got tequila in there, Don. Don't do it.
to tell this story. But, you know, I grew up in a hand clapping, toe tapping Black church right down the street from my house. And at the age of 14, I was called to preach, and I was on my way to pastoral ministry, ready to serve. And then queerness crept in. And what I knew was that I couldn't embody both my ministry and my calling simultaneously, because if I did, it means that I would not only lose my ministry, I would also lose my community. So I hit it. I saw those two parts of me as irreconcilable. And I matriculated through Pomona College, where I studied at undergrad. And then I arrived at Harvard University, where I received my Master of Divinity. And that's where I was able to unpack toxic theology and then reconstruct a theology that spoke to the fullness of who I am. And really, after the George Floyd protests, I saw a renewed commitment on the part of the Black church to engage issues of social justice, but I also saw anti-LGBTQ plus bills being sprawled across the country. And as someone who embodied both of those identities, I felt called to re-engage the Black church on this issue, recognizing that now was an opportune time to do it because lives were truly on the line. And God blessed us with a donor who said, "We love your work and your vision."
Come on, Cohen. Come on, Cohen. Listen, coins make the difference.
It makes the difference. It makes the difference. And so that's how we started, and we started a storytelling project called Can I Get a Witness, where that's where I interviewed you and a couple of other folks, where we are collecting the stories of Black, queer, trans, non-binary folks in the Black church, amplifying it, and really allowing that to be our guidepost in terms of what's next for us organizationally.
Wow. I'm just so excited. And I know that you guys are doing another round of interviews. How do I get connected? How do I volunteer for those interviews or just be a part of this movement?
Great question. We've made it super easy for you. All you have to do is go to our Instagram page or our Facebook page at Pride in the Pews again. And you can also go online. If you're not a social media person, you can go to our website, www.prideinthepews.com. And signing up is super easy. You'll just go to the Storytelling Project, Can I Get a Witness, and sign up. You sign up on Calendly. We'll send you an automatic invite reminder, and we'll make it super easy. And as a bonus, you'll get a $30 Amazon gift card just because we want to honor and respect your time.
Again, the coin makes the difference. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Y'all, please be a part of it. Share your story. It was very therapeutic for me, honestly, being able to talk about that and just being able to share it in an open space. Now it makes you feel so comfortable. So please, if you have a story to share, if you don't feel like you do, you may have one, be a part of this conversation. Y'all, we have somebody coming into the studio who needs no introduction. He is a part of the Just a Little Bit More plan. Hey, Ray, how you doing,
Raymond? Y'all, I miss y'all so much.
Girl, we so happy to have you, honey.
He is back.
He is back, and he's changing the world. He is a principal out here in this world, in these streets, doing things for kids. I'm so thankful for Ray and his commitment. He's busy, y'all, so we just glad to have you on this Thursday.
Yeah, I don't want to leave. I'm back.
Girl, the baby, has she delivered? We still But let's get into it. I want to hear some news briefs from Reese. Reese, what are some things going on in news?
Well,
politics in the world.
Yeah, we'll talk a little politics today. I don't know if anybody saw around lunchtime today, but Biden did address the nation after unveiling this $1.7 trillion spending framework on social programs. This is something that he really is a scaled back version of a $3.5 trillion proposal that was really planning to address a lot of issues that we're facing in the country. In the plan, it includes over $555 billion in clean energy tax credits, which are really designed to combat climate change. There's a cap on childcare costs for a lot of families with children. A child tax credit has been extended for a year. There's free preschool for 3 and 4-year-olds, expanded home care for the elderly, protections for undocumented immigrants, which allows them to work legally in the country and pay taxes. Basically, this is some of the largest investments in U.S. citizens in the history of the country. And the plan to pay for it is a minimum of a 15% tax on companies with over $1 billion in their profits, and additional tax increases on wealthy Americans, like getting them to finally pay their fair share. What was omitted from the bill, and what's a big part of why it was scaled back, is language for lowering the cost of prescription drugs. Paid family leave got omitted. And there was a billionaire tax hike that was discussed, but I think it was a little too complicated. So it kind of got scrapped. It really never got any traction to begin with. But the thing that I'm most disappointed about is a tuition-free community college being cut. I really thought that would change the game, especially for a lot of college-age kids and folks, you know, on their way to college. It would help make them not as vulnerable to higher student loan debt. You know,
Sally Mae is the devil. She's not our friend.
Sally Mae, Miss Navient, all of them.
And I got that email today saying I got to start back paying on January 31st.
Listen, it's one thing about Sally. She's consistent. And we have to be consistent like Sally. Like, she is consistent with getting her coin. And I just really, she needs to be rebuked it. But I'm really with you, Reese. I think more options to make sure that we're not taking higher student loans is amazing. And the affordable health child care is something that is really something that we need to put at the forefront. So I'm really with you about the college one.
Exactly. And I just really thought that, you know, what's frustrating, I think, to me is that things like this are just not issues in other nations, other developed nations around the world. Something like, you know, making sure that basic higher education is covered without, you know, people having to get into that debt. I know, like we were saying, if I had it all to do over again, I probably would have done my prerequisites at a community college instead of, you know, taking on additional debt just for, you know, these basic courses that don't really go towards my major. But yeah, so the biggest thing with all this, and the key word in what was unveiled today, is framework. It's not a bill. This means that it's not even necessarily guaranteed to get all the votes, and there's probably still some actual reworking that needs to be done for it to turn into actual legislation. The question becomes whether this is an acceptable proposal for both the more progressive wing of the Democratic Party and also for centrists like Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, which is interesting that he's one of the people who all this hinges on when he's got so much invested in coal in his state of West Virginia, you know, this dirty energy that's a big part of the climate problem. And then let's not forget that we haven't had any votes on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which addresses our highways, bridges, internets, waterway, and so on and so forth. And so one of the biggest things here is, while these are some of the most historic investments in our citizens and in our infrastructure, I can also see why a lot of people are disillusioned by the entire political process. I think the $3.5 trillion package could have gone a long way to addressing a lot of our nation's issues. But as usual, we're getting a watered down solution that probably won't move the needle nearly as much as we need.
Come on, Reese.
But I tell you, either way, these proposals are still going to impact a lot of Americans, and their passage is crucial to the success of Biden's presidency. So I would just urge everybody to continue to pay attention to what's happening, especially as we get closer to those midterms, which I told you all the time, I'm going to always put a plug in there. Be ready to vote next November. Be ready to vote. And that's all I've got for today.
Reese, I'm a second that we definitely need to be ready to vote. I have to actually participate in our even in local elections. Vote.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on in your local community and your local where you're staying, because the big elections are important, but making sure that you know what's going on in the communities that you live in really helps move things along and help that tide go along and making decisions in that community. It starts in your community, in your cities. So be a part of those elections as well. Well, moving on, I want to go into a section, and this section was burning hot. I was talking about this all week. And, you know, I love the section called What's Really Going On Here Around the Nation. There has been so many protests at these school board meetings about critical race theories. Parents are acting wild. They're going crazy, child. We just had one in, I think, Clayton County. Honey, they had people, they got to call the security guard. They have to have police at these meetings because of critical race theories. What are y'all thoughts on this? What are your feelings? I want to hear from y'all. And also in the comment section, I want to hear from you guys as well, because people are really passionate about this topic. What are you thinking?
Raymond, I want you to take it away first.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, I want to hear from the principal.
People need to think about people who we put in these offices. We need to also think like these local levels as well. The school has a lot to do with it when we think about our school boards who we're electing. A lot of schools, I feel like, are trying to take a shift because they've realized a lot of things that we've been teaching our kids is not accurate. It's not. It doesn't represent like the times now, and it's not a reflection of the truth. And so people, when I think about stuff like that, people don't want to hear the truth. They're scared. And these are the same people that are sitting in these top positions. These are the same people that people are voting for. So like when we think about things like that, it gives you an idea of the type of parents, the type of people that you have in your school. And that's nothing we can change. What we can change is really like thinking about who we're going to represent our school board, thinking about who are the people we're going to put in forefront of, like, to really like mold and shape the future, which is our kids. And I think it's a shame that people don't realize that it's a shame, and people are also scared, in my opinion, to hear the truth.
Yeah. That's the core for me. Like even with Condoleezza was on The View, and she talked a little bit about it. You know, I love Condoleezza Rice, so I'm not going to shade her. But I think her biggest,
we should,
but her core thing was not offending white people or not offending people in general. And I was just like, that's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Not at all.
Excuse. And I think that is my biggest issue, is that the whole truth, the whole story of history needs to be told, so that we won't repeat it. And we do, is not a thing of holding those communities accountable, but learning from our history so that we can build a better future and not omitting things from our history.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know. But I get that it's hard because it's been omitted for so many years.
Right. Yes. I was going to say, this is just another chapter in just the whitewashing of American history. I think we all saw it in our history classes. You know, so many things were glossed over. You know, so much of our history was just like we were, you know, skip past it. And, you know, unfortunately, some folks who have never really been uncomfortable, you know, historically, need to start getting uncomfortable and having these uncomfortable conversations. I mean, if we really want to get ahead as a nation, let's not sit here and sweep certain things, apparent things, under the rug. I mean, and one of my friends on Facebook said, you know, critical race theory, you mean actual American history? Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, come on now.
It is.
You know, and if people just don't want to take a holistic view of where we came from, then you're never going to understand fully what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, that's important. And, you know, it's just problematic that, and once again, of course, it's Republicans who are politicizing this whole thing. And like you said, it's unfortunate to see these people, these school board meetings, which are normally like really boring procedural things, completely acting a fool, whether it is for critical race theory or just having these kids wear masks. I'm just like, what is really going on in this country right now?
Yeah. And I'm tired of trying to like make white people feel comfortable. Like we need to stop. We need
that time has passed.
Stop. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to any person of color. And it's also not fair to white people as well. It doesn't mean that just because this is the history of the past that is a reflection of them now. We're just trying to take this like as a growing experience.
Exactly.
And I want to jump in here and say that it's important to recognize the ways in which this is a political strategy, right? Critical race theory is not taught in grammar school. Critical race theory is not taught in high school.
Exactly.
Critical race theory work that law school students use, right, to understand how positionality informs the privileges and oppressions that you experience in this world. And what we have seen is that there are certain people within the political spectrum that have decided to take on critical race theory as a culture war.
Yes.
Distorting the actual meaning of it, right, and the uses of it to energize a particular base. But what that means is they're distorting not only the meaning, but also the decades of scholarship, right? Intentional legal scholarship that has been curated for us to be able to tell a more accurate history of this country and a more accurate representation of the privileges associated with and or oppressions associated with identity. So I think it's important for us to acknowledge that this is a political strategy, right? particular political parties are able to energize their base around this issue
Yeah.
by duping and bamboozling folks into thinking, right, that this is a theory or methodology that's being adopted into their child's curriculum, and it's simply not true.
It's
Exactly.
not.
I'd never even heard of the term critical race theory until like last year, to be completely honest with you. I'm like, what is this? And why is it all of a sudden such a thing?
You know, that's
And
the
you're
truth, and
right.
that's everybody, Reese. It's so true. A lot of people have so many strong opinions about it, but I didn't know what it meant until like literally last month. Like I was like, what is critical?
But you know what, Don? John's absolutely right, though, because I think that what ends up happening, especially with certain political parties, is they can't win on the actual issues. So they like to cherry pick these things that are just going to create this unnecessary and unfounded outrage. And that's what they use to try to stay in power. So you're absolutely right about this being politically motivated.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's so, but I think the hard part for me is when I was hearing the stories of like, leaders and teachers are afraid to come to school. Because like you said, even the mask wars that have been going on these school board meetings have been insane. And like teachers are like, under a lot of fire. City officials and school board members are under a lot of fire. It is really a space where, you either agree or don't agree. And if you don't agree, almost you're going to be attacked. And I think that is scary. So I know this is something that is going to be a further conversation. I really hope people know what it means before they come to these school board meetings and really debate all of this issue. I just really hope that they know what it means. But for the people and the school board members, my prayers are with you. I pray you safety for you too, Ray, because they may be talking about it at your school.
No, they're not. And it's not every school. I want to just put it out there. It's not every
Mm-hmm.
school. It's not every school at all. Just to clarify, it's not everybody. But it's a lot of schools that are in rural communities. I'm just say that.
Yeah. So the shade is now done. All right. So moving on to another little phase I love to call just a little bit more or please no more. During this time, it's going to be some rapid hot topics. And I would love to hear your side if it won't just a little bit more of this or please no more stop ceasefire. Also, let us hear what you're thinking in the comment section as well. Up first is the new show. My favorite show is Queens, baby. I love this show. If you want to be a nasty girl. That's I was singing that. Ray, I thought that was your theme song. And I wanted to know, like, this show is getting a lot of attention. I know I love it. What are you guys thinking about it? Do you want more of this or please no more ceasefire?
Can I be honest, y'all? I did watch the first episode and I liked it. I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
I'm just like, I wonder whether I wasn't left with like, I wonder where they're gonna go with it next. But I love the characters and I am just really interested to like just see what it's gonna bring throughout the season. And then I just love Brandy. If you're a Brandy fan, if you want to hear some good singing, you need to like, ooh, girl is amazing. And then I'm happy my girl Notori is on there. I feel like she's one of the people that people just sleep on and like always have something negative to say. But that girl can act her ass off. And I love her. I love her. So I didn't watch this week. So that's going to be my weekend. I'm going to do it this weekend. But I want some more of it.
Yeah. I'll jump in and say I was late to the game. I kind of heard about it, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. But I say I want more of it, and that's just because whenever I have the opportunity to see Black women on screen with nuance in particularity, right, and a diverse range of experiences, I'm here for it. We need more of it, so I love it. I want more of it.
Yes.
I mean, Don took the words right out of my mouth.
Eve, come on. Eve was just playing.
Good. She looks good.
They look like me. Twins. We look good.
But I really want, like, to be honest, I need a scandal. I need a How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
That's what I need in my life right now. I don't need a soap opera. And it's not a soap opera. It's a good show.
How dare you?
Ray is absolutely right. I think that, when those two shows went off, I think it really left a void for us. Like Viola Davis and Kerry Washington were both powerhouses.
Yeah.
And I need that. I need some more of that kind of energy in my prime time. I'm all for Queens, and just a little more for me. I've never seen it, and it's not really, like Ray said, it's not my genre of TV. But yeah, give me another political or legal thriller or something like that, just to kind of like satisfy that palate. But yeah, listen, anytime we've got Black women in a primetime spot on national television on a major network, I'm all for it.
Listen, and then I need more Viola Davis walking How to Get With Murder, baby. She walked so hard, honey.
Oh my God! Have you seen the TikTok?
Regular.
That's how I walk in my regular heels. Yeah. Excuse me, in my heels. How dare you? You're not
in your flip flops. That's how you walk in flip flops.
Switch to wedges.
That's my petite walk. I purr. I'm purring.
I'm like lean with it, rock with it.
You stupid. All right, moving on. Now this one is already gonna be just a little. Please, no more of Bootsy. No more of Bootsy. Bootsy is under fire again for screaming homophobic slurs and threats to Lil Nas X over like some foolishness because Lil Nas X was really playing on his live, and Bootsy said, came back for him with some aggression. And I just saw that Big Frida is coming under a lot of fire because she is saying that Lil Nas X, she don't think he's homophobic. She just thinks he doesn't like Lil Nas X.
She don't think Bootsy is homophobic.
Oh yeah, she don't think Bootsy is homophobic. She just thinks that he doesn't like Lil Nas X. What are your thoughts about this?
I'll be back. I ain't got time for
that. Listen, tell me you're in the closet without saying you're in the closet. That's my thing. Bootsy, just come on out, child. The water's fine.
Bootsy is 40-something years old, and he is hating on this boy who is 21 years old. I love me some Lil Nas X. I don't listen to music like that, but I just love for everything he's standing for. Bootsy, the only reason you're relevant right now is because you are hating on one of the biggest celebrities right now in the country.
Yes. And we've seen this strategy before where folks don't have anything better to do with their time. And like you said, they can't be relevant just on their work. But they've got to go out and start these beefs.
Yeah. And Nas playing it too. Like Nas is the king of being a troll on Twitter. That man is so he wants people to keep putting his name in his mouth. It's okay. People gonna keep listening to his music. I'm here for Lil Nas X, but Bootsy needs to go somewhere, and he's not going to go anywhere. So
I don't need more of Little Bootsy. I'm so fatigued. My soul is tired. I can't with him. And I think for me, what has been more frustrating than Little Bootsy himself are his enablers, right? The folks who are in the industry who are not clapping back at him, right? And I mean straight cis folk who are watching him disparage not only Lil Nas X, but everyone else in the community, right? Who identifies in the same way that Lil Nas X does. So yes, I'm tired of him. And I'm also looking at our supposed allies who are showing up at Pride Parade and performing and who love being in ballroom culture and supporting supposedly, right? But are sitting quietly, right? As Lil Bootsy is engaging in this homophobic rhetoric. It's harmful, it's dangerous, and lives are literally on the line. And there should be more people standing up, speaking out against it.
Exactly. Yes, you can't play with him saying you should go kill yourself. Like that is not funny. That wasn't cute to me. Like I'm just like, how horrible is that? This is a kid. Like Lil Nas X is like a kid. You know what I'm saying? He's like young, and you just like you really gonna just tell him to go and kill himself. Please, no more of Lil Nas. Please, more of Lil Nas X. No more of Bootsy.
Exit stage left.
Please.
Exit stage left.
All right, moving on. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They announced that Sheree is coming back. Are y'all excited about Sheree? Are you excited about her returning? Are we over Sheree?
I think she's the first housewife in Housewives history to come back a third time, right? Yes. Somebody said her tagline should be just like a rash. I keep coming back.
Bad girl.
And Jonathan is very familiar with that. I just want to say that. I want to put that out there. He knows about that. He came up with that tagline.
Your mother. And I hope nobody's doing no laughing emotion.
I'm so done.
But I am done. Sheree does not need to come back. Sheree needs to stay at the house.
I'm less excited about Sheree and more excited about Marlo finally getting a peek. I cannot wait to see. It's a few years too late, but better late than never. None of these things ever happen when they're supposed to, but I think a lot of us are just eager to see what's happening, in her life.
When I say after this season of Potomac, Atlanta got some big shoes to fill.
Listen.
Potomac has been given that classic Real Housewives tease. It ain't it's catty, stupid drama that is amazing. Like, it's stupid. Karen is mad over something that happened 4 seasons ago, talking about because Giselle talking about my husband. It's girl, no, it's stupid. Like, the shade is fun shade.
So good.
It
I
is.
feel like Atlanta was getting to like the too catty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do need Nene, they need Phaedra, and they need Portia back. I don't
Chris
think.
asked if Nene's coming back. She's not.
Yeah, Nene not coming. But
no, I don't think so. But I think I have a contrarian opinion here. And like,
let's see it.
I want more of Sheree. I mean, she is literally the bone carrier. Like, that's who she is. Like, she has receipts.
Yeah.
And she don't mind pulling it out. And it's a sort of classic drama. You know what I mean? We're not talking about, the allegations, right, that Phaedra said about Kandi, around sexual assault. Like, nothing serious. It's just like, I heard your man was doing this. Okay? and your house not paid for.
Yes. That was some of the best. That Sheree versus Kenya house battle.
Yes.
Chateau, she ain't done yet.
Or Maurice when Sheree and Marlo.
I'm with y'all. Yeah.
So just a little more of Sheree for me.
Yeah, I actually don't mind her coming back at all. And we also have that new cast member, Sanya Richard Ross, the track star from the Olympics, is going to be on the show this season. So it's going to be an interesting group of women, and they really needed to shake it up after last season because that was a hot mess.
Child, even New York is coming for them. Like New York, even the Real Housewives of New York is still coming for them.
I don't know. New York was pretty bad last season.
Potomac is the one, but right now I'm really worried about Atlanta. I don't know. I don't really know.
Potomac is giving the girls a run for their money.
Yes.
All right, moving on to Amanda Seales. I watched Insecure on Sunday, and I was really, like everybody, I was in love. I love Insecure. I'm really sad it's leaving. Such a great show. Such a point, like, for the time and for the culture. I'm so glad Issa Rae is doing this. But then I see this foolishness from me on Instagram about, people clowning Amanda Seales' character for wearing AKA letters and everything. They say that they didn't get AKA's permission. They didn't get the sorority's permission. And so people are just like, you are wearing our letters and you haven't earned our letters. And what are y'all thoughts about this? Because for me, it was foolish. But what are y'all thoughts?
They need to have several seats is what I think. This was a character on a television show. Yeah. Big fucking whoop. That's just my whole thing. And that's all I got to say about it.
Well, Maurice, it also bothers me that it's an majority all black cast, and this show is Emmy nominated. Like, always receive accolades, and just to bash someone to highlights a sorority that's like very pivotal in the black community, it bothers me. Amanda Seales, and I think people are just trying to come for Amanda Seales because it's Amanda Seales. And not really just like the organization. But then it's also like, I'm mad at the organization for typing up that weak ass claim, talking about we're gonna do some further investigation or some shit. Why? You are on HBO, and they are giving you like representation that's amazing, and the character is not crazy. The character is not doing something. I got the whole VH1 thing when they had the little crazy ass sorority reality show. I get that, but this is Insecure, and it just really bothered me. And there are other characters that represent Greek life as well, and nobody want to complain.
Exactly. One of the guys on there is a Q on the show, right? He's not a Q in real life, so where was the outrage there?
I didn't know that.
She's successful. Amanda Seales' character is successful on the show.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me. I think it's really, really ridiculous. And I think it's stupid, but it's also good for the show. So people can
because we're talking about it. We're talking about
someone tweeted, I think someone said, y'all let y'all's man drive your Altimas with those AKA letters on it. But you're not mad at this.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have been. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm done.
Well, no, I was going to say I think this is one of those classic instances where Amanda Seales is a loathed figure in a lot of folks' mind, and they are conflating the artist and artistry. right? Like to
Yeah.
your point, it's increased visibility for the sorority. I think that's always good, especially for Divine Nines in our own history.
Yeah.
And we should be celebrating the fact that this is a Black woman who wrote, who directed, who produced, right, and decided to put our culture, like center our culture in this. So
Yeah.
this is something to celebrate. I will say the caveat is I'm not in a fraternity, so I don't get that life. It's not my calling, but but I'm like, at the end of the day, I think representation is important. And to your point, there are so many other instances in which Greek life is represented, and I have not heard the same sort of outrage. So it makes me think that it is Amanda Seales that they are.
It is
What is the
definitely Amanda
thing?
Seales.
What is the thing about Amanda Seales? I must have just missed this memo because why don't people like her?
Because she's opinionated. I also think people hated her when she was on The Real, but that was
Yeah.
the best season for me.
Ever.
It was.
It was.
Yes,
It
it
was.
Because she brought so much political view, like bringing like real stuff. She kept it real, and
Mhm.
not saying the other people on The Real didn't, but I just feel like she brought something that was very different. And I think people are just hating on Amanda Seales because she is no cut cards.
Yeah.
I don't know how people have so much energy for so much outrage. I'm just like, ain't you tired, Miss Hilly?
Ain't you just tired? Like, are you like, geez Louise? I think I would be more upset I would have been upset if it was like a white woman wearing an AK. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like,
yes.
representation. It was just too much for me. So please, no more of that food. Just leave Amanda Seales alone. Let her live her best Black woman life, and let's keep it moving.
Exactly.
Kind of to end the show out, I love to end it with a love. I wanted to pose this question to everybody and to you guys. I want to hear your comments as well. What are ways that we can empower people to? I would frame it like this. What would you give advice to your friend, a good Judy, if they needed to walk away from a bad situation? What is the words of what would you give them to walk away from a bad situation?
Oh,
I'm stumped too.
It's tricky, right? I'll say it's definitely a tricky thing because it's like we see things that maybe they don't.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me is just always reminding people. We talked about it a little bit last week about vulnerability and expressing that vulnerability. And I think that, if I'm able to do a little bit of that to open up to somebody else, I just think that it just creates that safe space for them to open up to me. And I think that in that, I know that I used to have a bad history of just like telling people exactly what they should do, that type of thing. And that always came off kind of like preachy or lectury or something like that. And it never really got the message across. So the biggest thing now is just being there for folks. I've definitely had friends who were in, like bad relationships or things like that. And I just always offer a listening ear. And, for me, it becomes one of those things where I like to ask questions instead of telling people things. Because when you ask questions, that helps them. You're kind of like facilitating them connecting the dots. And it doesn't happen right away. It doesn't happen overnight. But I think that if you help people to like kind of see things a little bit differently, that helps to help them make the proper decision eventually.
These some good comments, y'all. I love this. Say, make a plan, have a team waiting on the other side. This one's my favorite. Bitch, we need an intervention. And I just believe in supporting my friends in the way they are. Thank you, babe. You right. You support me. Love you. What are some more ways you think?
I echo many of those sentiments that Maurice raised. I think it's a matter of reminding that person of their inherent value and worth, how much you love them and you want the best for them. And when they're in that place where they're contemplating, right, leaving or exiting a bad situation, that's where they really need you the most, right? So I'm not interested in preaching at you, to Maurice's point, or lecturing you. I just want you to know that I love you as you are. I want the best for you. And whenever it is you decide to take a step back, we'll be here waiting, loving on you, caring for you. And in the meantime, I can go hem that person up, whoever it is, on the backside and say like, yo, you need to chill out, okay? Because this is my friend. So it's a sort of both and. I'm patient with the friend. I'm probably hemming up the other person saying you need to take a step back.
That dual work. That dual work.
Yes.
Ray, what you think, boo?
For me, I would like tell my friend, you want a hot body? You want a Maserati? You better work, bitch. You want a Lamborghini?
You are so stupid.
Get out, Ray.
Get out of here.
You want to live fancy? You want to live in a big mansion, party in France? You better work, bitch. No, I'm just playing. No. I would. I don't know if I could say like I just want to be there for that person.
Yeah.
Not come on as someone who is like just thinking I know everything, but just like hear them out and just be a sound ear. And they want to offer, if they want to hear your advice, like, then I speak my mind, but then I try to help them like be reflective of like,
exactly.
Hey, you want to get out of this situation, think what life will look like after whatever is going on is gone.
Yeah.
That's
and never have any of that like I told you so mindset, because I think that's another one of those things that we can sometimes fall into a trap of. If there are friends, like everybody's kind of said, we just have to be there for them.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all definitely seen it. You know, we see some of these like train wrecks coming a mile away, and as much as you might know in the back of your mind, I called that, you can't tell your friends that. Just be like, look, rest your head right here. We're going to pour a drink. We're going to cry it out. We're going to get through it, and we're going to move forward.
Because you could be next.
100%.
Yeah.
Listen, life has a way, and that's one of the things I had to learn. I think that I learned how to be a better friend from my friends. So, like, I learned how to be a better friend from Ray. I learned how to be a better friend from Gary. Like, I've learned a lot of things from my husband of how to be a better friend, because I was that one that thought I knew it all and I knew nothing. And you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, girl. Excuse me. But no, I think that's the biggest thing. And like you said, just be patient and giving love is the best, I think, thing to do for anybody. So great advice, y'all. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to Just a Little Bit More. It was a great conversation. It's a great conversation. I'm so glad to have done here today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You fit right on in. Come back. Come back, Don.
Anytime.
Come back. And this is tell everybody how they can connect with you. I have the website down there, but what are other ways that they can connect with Pride?
Yes. So the best and probably quickest way to connect with us is by following us on Instagram and Facebook at Pride in the Pews. We're excited for your engagement and questions and curiosity. We're all about building bridges and having those tough, difficult conversations, recognizing that we are all at different places in our journey, but as long as we center voices that are silenced and show up for folks who are on the margins, we're probably doing the right thing.
Yes, indeed.
Give a word, Don. Give a word for the people. Thank you, guys. Have a safe Halloween.
Yes.
Have fun. Drink responsibly. Take an Uber. And have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Let me put the music on to close us out. Get it. Because Ray, you didn't dance the first, so let me see your moves. Let me see your dance.
Turn the volume up.
Let me turn the volume up.
I'll be right back.
You're so stupid.